in many countries, when there were such situations, they just declared gold illegal to own or to have or to use as a currency. That's also something that happened in quite a few countries over the time and over the last century, let's say a bit more than a century. I think it's interesting, like the saying from the Eastern Europeans, like when Yugoslavia broke apart back in the 90s, for example. It was like everything was fine. You had your money in the bank, everything. The next morning you woke up, you went to the bank, and it was just closed. They told me, it was like, man, it was just closed. You had no clue why it was closed. And you found out through the news afterwards that, hey, your money, gone. It's gone. And that's why a lot of people from Eastern Europe, for example, or also much older Germans, they're like, no, if you don't have it in your pocket, if you don't have it somewhere buried in your own garden, you don't have it. Like, of course, if everything went good, no problem. But when it comes push to shove, only what you have in your hand counts. Everything else, no matter how safe, insured, how whatever, you can't count on it. Well, that's the sentiment, at least from these people who like experienced crashes on another intensity than most of the Western world has experienced. Like we're a bit coddled when it comes to that. For us, a crash is like, oh my God, the stocks lost 10 or 20% value, and like, wow, that's a crash for us. And other countries experienced like, whoa, suddenly there is no food, and there are major issues, and all of your money is gone. So that's an interesting take. And it brings me to another point that I just want to make, because of usually gold and assets are often used as a hedge against inflation too. And I heard your point also being like, you can get a loan or use your money that might lose the value through inflation and buy assets. Like, good if you have assets that don't depreciate in value, even better if you buy assets that create cash flow, like that's adaptable to I'm a bit curious, because back in Germany, when the hyperinflation era was, I just wanted to tell you, so you know, maybe to look into it. The government stepped in and said, whoa, now all of the houses were paid off technically by the inflation, all the real estate, but that's unfair to the population. That's just unfair. So the government said all of the real estate owners have to pay a 50% tax on this estate with the new value. They were signed into the ground book. It's like, who owns it? And if they didn't pay off that tax in, I don't know anymore, it's like in X years, then the estate was confiscated and sold and taken away. So just want to warn the people who think, okay, I'm going to go all in with taking loans and buying assets. Even that, if you don't have a good idea for the cash flow and how to handle the money afterwards, it can also lead to ruin, because that's also a dangerous game. If you like this clip, watch another one. And if you want to see the whole interview, click here.